because everything feels amazing like the first few minutes, and the first few weeks, and the first few months, because we haven't really attached a real commitment to it yet. Just like dating, you're like, oh, this is amazing, I love this person, they're great, they're everything. Then you realize there's some work that has to be done, right? And then we think to ourselves, do I really want this? Hi beauty marks, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Pamela Ricardo if you're new. I am an actress as well as a life coach and the owner of BeautymarkCoaching. I want to talk to you guys today about how we can do so much better this year. We are now in 2023, you guys. It's no longer about dreaming, it's about making things actually happen. But one topic that I think is not really touched on too much is, why are we so comfortable quitting? We've gotten so comfortable with quitting everything that we start as soon as it gets a little bit hard. As soon as the career doesn't take off in a month like you expect it to because you're doing everything, we quit. Well, how do we not do that anymore? How do we kill that bad habit for good this time? I want to talk about that today. Now, being multifaceted is beautiful. I myself have been, and still are, and still am, an actress, entrepreneur. I have a fitness business, I have a health coaching business, and I'm also a life coach, right? But every time I would go and be adventurous enough to try and be something new, I came into new obstacles that honestly could have made me quit. But there were things that I did and things that I had to do in order for me to not quit. It's not easy. But the thing about being multifaceted is you're inquisitive, you're good at a lot of things, you feel like sky's the limit, you are not afraid, you're brave enough to try new things. That's a great thing. But of course, with anything that has pros, there are cons. So what are the cons? The cons are sometimes you can feel extremely scattered. What do I focus on? You know? Also, you can feel like you are doing too much and you're not seeing any results. So therefore you want to give up. That's typically the problem, and that's where quitting begins. So let's talk about a few steps today that can help us, so the moment we decide that we're not gonna go this way anymore, we're not gonna do the small things, like maybe you wanna grow your hair this year and it's the small steps that you need to do every single day to make that happen, but you're good for 2 weeks and then you throw in the towel. Don't we all do that? I'm gonna water my plants every day because I want beautiful plants in my home. That's my thing. And if I don't attach a reason to it, and if I don't do these particular tips that we're gonna go over, I am most likely to quit. So we're gonna talk about how to not quit anymore, because we ain't quitters. We are winners. We are not quitters. And the more we continue on with what we chose to do, the more we create more self-discipline. So that is what we are going to discuss right now. Tip number 1, typically when we quit something, there's a spot that we hit, right? There's a sore spot right before the quitting, always. Example, let's say you are discovering that you want to be a singer, right? You've got a good voice, not just in the shower. You've been singing, you've even sung on your TikTok and you've gotten good feedback. You know, you're starting to find what songs match your tone, you're learning how to write, and now you've hit that point where you've done all that you can do, right? That's typically where we say, what's next? And if the what's next doesn't happen fast enough, we quit. Or we put it on the back burner and call it something that we do, but we don't take seriously. AKA quiet quitting, you know? And then example number 2, you have a business. You've got a product. You want to sell it. You've even went as far as to figure out who your niche client may be. And you are now at that point where the next step is what? This is your sore spot, right? And this is where you have gone as far as you can go, and you're finding that this is too difficult to do the next step. You don't know what the next step is, and so you typically, what? You quit. So when you do a self-analyzation, you need to figure out what is the next step, right? So how do you do that? You have to write down your skills. Literally take a piece of paper right now and write down your skills. Are you a great communicator? Are you a great writer? Are you a great listener? Are you great at lifting heavy? Are you great at organizing things? What are your skills? And they don't have to be super unique, but what are some skills that you have? And it may be 25 things that you're sure of that you're great at. It may be 5 things. It may be 1 thing. But whatever you're sure of that you do well, write that down. And don't worry if this feels self-absorbed, because you need to toot your own horn. Let me tell you why. You think Whitney Houston was like, I'm an okay singer. I guess I'll try this out. No, Whitney Houston has in many interviews said she is that girl. She knows she can sing. That is her skill. What is your skill? You need to know this, because that way imposter syndrome can't live in you, because you're solid in what you know you bring to the table. So write down your skills right now. Like seriously, like write your skills down. What is something that, or what are some things that you are so good at that people would pay for? What is something that you're so good at that the world needs? What are some things that you are so good at? Really can't nobody compete with you in that. What are those things? Toot your own horn. The reason why I want you to write your skills down is because the more you know who you are and what you're good at, you got to change your mindset. You got to say to yourself, I'm a good communicator. What are some things I can be doing that will make me an even better communicator, right? Or I'm really good at making people feel good. When I sing, people feel good. So when you're singing, you detach yourself from this end result. You're not singing somewhere or headed to voice lessons thinking, oh my God, when am I going to get this record deal? When am I going to start making the big bucks? When am I going to be famous? No, you have to practice the law of strategic detachment. Detach yourself from the end result and attach yourself to becoming more of you. What does that mean? If you're a great communicator and you say that you are involved in starting a coaching business, like myself, I had to detach the idea that everyone I met was going to be a potential client. I would be in the grocery store or out and about with friends or whatever. And when I meet people, when I detached myself from the end result, just talking to people, listening, communicating, and hearing what they're saying, that is a joy that comes to me. So when I'm doing it, I am being more of myself, of my true self, because I'm involving myself in what I really love to do. And if I get a client out of that, great. And the more I detached myself from getting that client, the more clients that came to me. I wasn't having to go so hard and prove myself. I was becoming more of myself. So you have to become more of you. What skills do you have that you can hone in on, and what are you attaching yourself to right now that you love, that skill matches, and that thing you want to be needs that skill? So they go hand in hand. The skill needs your desire, and your desire needs your skill. The honeymoon phase is over, and this is a long game. And that scares us sometimes, or we think that the things that we have been doing all this time aren't really moving the needle as fast as we thought it would. Or we start feeling like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Because if I was, wouldn't it already be happening? Let me just quit now and go hop on something else. Because everything feels amazing like the first few minutes, in the first few weeks, in the first few months, because we haven't really attached a real commitment to it yet. Just like dating. You're like, oh, this is amazing. I love this person. They're great. They're everything. Then you realize there's some work that has to be done, right? And then we think to ourselves, do I really want this? Quitting can be paralyzing because you get used to it, and that becomes an identity for yourself. And you're like, well, I quit that. Well, I'm probably going to quit this too. And you start to lessen your own self-confidence. We don't need to do that anymore. And let me say, I've done that before. I'm human. I've done that before. I've started and stopped and started and stopped. And I'm like, why don't you just keep going for once? Stop starting and stopping. Just keep going. Because when it gets hard, you may need to bring somebody else in. Or you may need to start reinventing how you're doing it. But whatever you need to be doing, you don't need to be quitting. I know for me, the times that I've quit something and then I realize I don't want to quit this, and I pick it back up because I took a quick little pause break, which I don't think is a bad idea. Sometimes you have to lose things to figure out that you really needed them and they were really necessary for you. So what I would do to kind of like re-spark that love for that, whether it was writing or acting or fitness or whatever, I have many inspirations around me. You know what I mean? I watch biographies, I'll read a book, I'll read articles, I'll go to the grocery store and look at the fitness magazine and just glance at a couple of pictures. I'm like, girl, you get your butt in the gym tomorrow. Like, just re-sparking the interest in what it is you're trying to do. You have to figure out, who are you and why? Why do you love singing? What is it about singing that makes you feel so good? Why do you want to be a singer? Those are questions you have to do during your self-analyzation. And these things will help you figure out what the purpose is behind it so that you don't give up. As long as things are just something to do, if you just like to go out to eat, if you just like to cook, if you just like, you're gonna do it, but it's not gonna have weight. You have to give it weight. So during your self-analyzation, you realize, singing isn't just about hearing myself sing. Singing makes other people happy. So therefore, I like doing that because I want to bring joy to the world. Now it carries more weight. Anytime that something is selfish and it doesn't feel like it's going to be something that other people will need from you, you will naturally let it go. It's when we attach it to a gift, we attach it to a purpose, then we start to put weight with it and it starts to feel like a task that we have to do. It has to have weight. I have some more to share, but first I want to ask you this question. Have you recently stopped doing something and recently quit something that you once had great plans for or desires to do? What skill can benefit from you picking that back up? And this works with your small habits as well. This year I said I wanted to take better care of myself and my mental, right? So journaling was something that I said I do not want to quit. I don't want to do it every other day. I want to journal every single day. Okay, and I'm human. Some days I did not want to. But one of my skills is I'm a great communicator. I know this about myself. So when I would wake up in the morning and I didn't want to journal, I would say, no, Pamela, sit your butt down, light that daggone candle, and you need to journal because you need to empty out your subconscious so that you can have a day where your mind is free and open to all the possibilities. You can't walk around with all that stuff on your mind. Let's write it all on paper and get it out. And that was something that I did this year. And because it was important to me being a better communicator, remember, I'm attaching my skill to my desire. My desire is to have a successful coaching business. I don't want to quit that. And I don't want to quit taking care of myself. And journaling is going to help me be a better communicator, which is attached to my desire, which is growing my coaching business. That is how you don't quit. The things you want to do and the things you don't want to do, habits, small habits, brushing your teeth every day, brushing your hair, cleaning your home, watering your plants, things that we don't do all the time when we don't feel like it, the quitting that we do, that we are mad at ourselves for quitting. It's because we haven't attached it to a real reason yet. Once the reason is there, quitting will be impossible. Detaching yourself from the end result makes quitting impossible, because when you have a skill you're honing in on and getting better at, that's the purpose you live for every day. It's not the end result anymore. You're just working on becoming more of you, and that's so fulfilling. Like if you're reading a book right now and you're stressed out about maybe possibly not finishing it because you're used to quitting, stop worrying about getting to the end of the book. Worry about hearing what you need to hear while you're reading the book. You picked it out for a reason. Learn what you're supposed to learn in that book and forget about when you get to the final page. Learn each page that you're reading and absorb what you need to hear to become more of what you need to hear. There's a reason why you chose that book. I hope this video helped you so that you can understand that quitting is not something to be ashamed of, but it is something that we need to stop doing so much of. You want to live a life that feels like you are secure in who you are and you're secure in the choices that you make so that you can make decisions a lot easier for yourself. Being indecisive wastes a lot of time. Yes, sometimes we do need to step back and do an analysis of where we are so we can continue to make better choices, but we don't want to stay paralyzed in being indecisive, and we don't want to get used to being a quitter. I want to invite you all to my first Masterclass. It's coming up on January the 12th. It's going to be a Thursday night at 7 p.m. It's online and it will be live. It is completely free. So I want you all to go to www.reinventyourlifewithpam.com and sign up now. We are going to discuss so many things: quitting, reinventing yourself, becoming someone that doesn't let imposter syndrome stop them, money management, being better with your self-discipline, making your to-do list smarter, so many things. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I would absolutely love to hear your story, and I would absolutely love to help you change how you see your past and turn those scars into beauty marks. So please go to www.pamelathebeauty.com and let's go ahead and set up a good 20-minute consultation where we'll talk about where we can go together and if we're a great fit. And I really hope we are. Anyways, you guys, Happy New Year, and let's make it the best year we've ever had. Bye, Beauty Marks.